Hey, welcome back everybody. Evil's Comics. I'm Evil Mike, and this is going to be my reviews on new DC comics that were released on August 11th, 2021. First up, we have Wonder Woman issue number 777. I'm not positive, but this might be a first appearance or first cover of this. The male, his name is Wonder Man, but it's the male version of Wonder Woman. One moment. Excuse me. It's continuing the ongoing story that's where Wonder Woman has been flipping through kind of different like different mythologies as far as Norse and Greek, and now she is what looked like she ended up in 1977 Earth, because she is wearing her older costume as shown on the cover. She is with Siegfried, and he has been, and Ratatusk is shown here, the little rat. They have been with her since since she was with on Valhalla. And they are looking for Yanis. Yanis is like, she kind of looks like a evil version of Wonder Woman, but it's basically a Greek god. They get to the Hall of Justice, and as soon as they get into the Hall of Justice, they start noticing some different things. Wonder Woman thinks this is her Earth, and she's like, yeah, come on, Siegfried, I can show you around. I'll get some of my friends. This is where I work. And they get to the statues, and they notice that, like, Wonder Woman's head is knocked off, and they run into, she thinks it's Miss Martian, but it is not, because they are not on her Earth. It is just Marcia instead of Miss Martian, and they quickly find out that they are not on their Earth at all. This is more, it is a Earth that is like nothing but females pretty much, and the males are pretty much the lesser dominant forms on this Earth. It is Earth 11, and on Earth 11 they kind of show that I'm not going to show you that yet, but they kind of show that, like, Earth 11 is like, yeah, we kind of talk about your Earth as Earth 11, and that's funny how y'all call us Earth 11, and I think the Earth that Wonder Woman, or they think Wonder Woman is from, is Earth 16 or something like that. And she does express that the whole multiverse and the different Earths are kind of confusing. We catch up to Janice with her God Scraper weapon, and Janice has the ability to, rip through not only realities, but she's able to kill gods. And if she is cut, if she cuts you or kills you with this thing, supposedly it cancels out any kind of memory of you. She releases Wonder Man, which they show right here, because he is being held captive somewhere on Earth 11 for some injustice that he did. We catch up with Wonder Woman, and she is being caught up to date with the Justice League here, and it is a all-female Justice League, and they kind of tell how this whole, like, how Wonder Man went bad and why they have him locked up. Dead Man ends up finally entering back into the story, catching up with Wonder Woman and Siegfried. As they are going into the meeting, it is quickly interrupted by Wonder Man, which kind of just bust out in this all rumpus of a fight that goes on between the female Justice League, Siegfried, Wonder Woman. They quickly basically beat the crap out of him. He does damage to all the female Justice League members, and he goes toe to toe with Siegfried first, and kind of messes up Siegfried too. And then Wonder Woman kind of gets into it, and her new lasso, it is not the lasso of truth. We don't know what its name is, but we do know that if she says something while you're tangled up in the lasso, that you have to do whatever she says. And she tells him to, like, forget who he is, and he kind of goes down for the count. Wonder Woman beats the crap out of him. And it's funny because he does this whole spiel about how he's the man version and she's the less dominant, and Wonder Woman's just like whatever, you know, and she just tosses him like he's nothing. Janice does show up, and she, you know, she's like, ah ha ha, you know, and provokes Wonder Woman into fighting her, even though the danger of you know, even getting cut by this thing. In the fight, Wonder Woman does end up getting cut, and I'm kind of curious to see if they're going to keep that cosmetically, because usually in comic books, you know, the flesh wounds kind of don't stick around. Now they have done that recently with Harley, where she does have the scar from Punchline, and it has kind of showed up ever since she got it. So I'm kind of curious to see if this new scar, because it's like right here on Wonder Woman, I'll show you. But it's this massive fight between Wonder Woman and Janice, and at first it really looks like Wonder Woman is just that much stronger and powerful and quicker than Janice. Janice does do like a great supervillain, like, you know, where she flips the tide and she kind of overpowers Wonder Woman. Radis, like at one of the last moments, kind of hops in and bites Janice and saves Wonder Woman's life. They do this thing at the very end, like after Wonder Woman gets cut, and she is cut like right here, and they show her on the next panel, you know, with the blood and where she got cut. Quickly after that, she grabs a dead man, and she basically, you know, leaves out with a teleport, and Wonder Woman eventually falls through the portal after Boston Brand, aka Deadman, and that is where this story leaves off basically. They do show you that when they enter, it is some kind of like spacey, and we see that Siegfried has kind of gone back to his regular like form, maybe without his armor kind of thing. But that is it, and we go on to the next place with Wonder Woman. Next up is like a young Diana side story that has been going on, and we are kind of near the end of the story, and it's basically the young Diana finding out that her mom Hippolyta has, you know, been lying to everybody as the queen, and that basically they kind of made men look, you know, more mean than they were. And Hippolyta tells, you know, Diana about the story about how you know, when she was growing up, it was her and her friend, and they had a great time as Amazons, and eventually men came along, and they were great for a time, but eventually men do what we do, and there was a couple bad guys that came along, and basically kind of they took all the women, the Amazonians, captive, and basically that spawned that whole story, you know. And she's basically trying to explain, you know, why she did this and why she did it to cover up their side of it, to make the men look bad, and it was just made, you know, more of a you know, weak moment kind of thing that is expressed to Diana. And so basically in the next issue we'll get to find out what Diana thinks and does about the whole, you know, conversation. Again, that is a young reader's, you know, story. I do read it, but I mean, it is for younger readers. It's still a good story. Next up, we got Joker number 6, and a lot of people have said this is like a filler issue. I want to say it is, and it isn't. It's still continuing. But we start out in Hooper County, Texas, and we're learning about the Hooper family, and that's basically what it is. It's basically this whole backstory and how the Hooper family are a lot like the Texas Chainsaw, you know, family, and how they're all sick and twisted. They want to focus on this like this big guy here, and his name is like Billy something, and we'll get there because it's kind of right here. Billy the Brute Samson, because it's the Samson family, and they show right here. But he has recently been incarcerated. But this is one of the families that are after the Joker. But it's kind of explaining like how they're wealthy, and more along the lines how they're perverse. We go back to, we're in France with Gordon, because that's the meat of the story. Gordon has been hired to track down the Joker, and it's more of his monologuing and him trying to track down leads, because Joker has yet again vanished. We learned that everywhere he goes, you know, it's usually like the Joker is always like a couple steps ahead, and like in those last panels, that's why he was getting beat up, and But they kind of show Gordon kind of chillaxing, using some of that money. He talks about how he didn't really fit in being wealthy, and even when he was a commissioner, talking about how he ate dinners with senators and stuff like that. He still wasn't treated as such, but he has been gifted this unlimited credit card, and so he's kind of been using it a little more. I mean, there's a lot of backstory with him and Barbara now that he knows that Barbara is Batgirl, and he is kind of using her and the Bat technology per se. And they're kind of he is warned that something is going on in Santa Prisca with the whole Bane family, and now that Bane is dead and Bane's daughter is kind of in charge. Talks something about a military overtaking. They do go back into Mr. Billy the Simple, and he's getting this new mask and maybe this new look and something like that. They finally go into this conversation where Gordon's finally kind of made up his mind on how he wants to go forward, and it's kind of like he's not really trusting his whole like gut in the right way kind of thing. At one point, after he's talking to Barbara, the French Interpol show up, and we meet this lovely lady right here. I'm bad with names, so I don't remember her name, but we do see that the reason that they are after Gordon apparently is because he's being accused of murder, and it just so happened that the Joker used his prints at the scene of the crime, and we see Joker is kind of over the rooftops watching him. Next up is a little side story with Puncline continuing her journey in prison, and it's been Harper Row, who is I think her name is Bluebird or something like that, I can't remember, but she's right here. But she has been trying to make sure that Puncline stays locked up, because she knows Puncline is just as bad, and yada yada yada. But through this whole conversation, she's trying to get in jail, and she's trying to hide right off the bat. She runs into Puncline. She's trying to hide because she feels like Punchline's going to recognize her being one of the Bat family members. Of course, it's not like that. Puncline instantly recognizes her, and basically taunts her into attacking her. There is a moment where Punchline finally gets the moment she wanted, and she gets Harper Row to attack her. It is all caught on camera, and it was done on purpose, set up so she could make it look like that people were just attacking her in the outside world kind of thing. They show right here that Harper Row's brother, and I think it's this guy in this panel right here, has seen this video of someone attacking Punchline innocently in jail, and that's basically where we're going with the next. It's kind of like one of these things where I think she's going to use that to help her get out type thing. Next up, we got Detective Comics 1041, and this is following up after everything that's been going on with the Worth murder and the vile henchman thing that's been going on. We have Mayor Nakiako, I think that is his name, is kind of being filled in at everything that's going around. He keeps hollering for Vile, and of course Vile is not around. He has been kidnapped by Mr. Worth and Penguin. We see Bruce, and Bruce, he has just got out of jail. He has been released legally, and he is trying to make it back to his apartment. His apartment was burned down, so he's kind of going to this secondary bat cave, and he has a bunch of them spread out through the sewer. Now that he is a little less millionaire-ish, but he finds out that Mr. Worth and Penguin's gang have found most of his bat gangs, and have destroyed most of his bat caves, and police are down in the sewers looking for anybody that's causing more panic. So Bruce Wayne decides to stay out of the sewers. He has to contact Oracle, and Oracle tells him that he has an old stockpile at the docks, and we get to see Batman in some of his older colors that he hasn't used in a while. It is even referenced by the villains, like, hey, you're in some older clothes. We finally get the the kind of the new part, and Batman is being summoned to the jury, and it's basically like a jury of villains, and Batman is being accused of the crime for, you know, Mr. Worth's daughter, Sarah Worth. They're basically, you know, presenting all this information, and Batman is like, you know, none of this is true. Where's your proof? Eventually, it's this massive like gun down, you know, and Batman's kind of already ready for it. Of course, Batman does his like sneakery where he takes off his cowl and cape and uses it as a decoy. But we see in the background that somebody is already ready for this, locked and loaded with one of these new vial, you know, henchman bullet type things that they have concocted, with vial being kidnapped. They kind of show how they did it right here, how they pulled the virus or the insect out of Vial's mouth. But we see right here that, yep, Bruce gets infected, and I think it might be in the next panel. But right here they show like an enraged, crazy, you know, Batman. They do show like a Huntress now, you know, with the powers of being able to see anybody that Vial's been infected, that somehow she knows that Bruce has been infected because she is instantly seeing it, and she contacts Oracle. They do show you that they still do have Vial and in incarceration. They do say that that's next, is that what's coming in Detective Comics is the Rage of the Bat. Next up is a wonderful side story following this Deb Donovan, who is a reporter. And she has been kind of woven in and out of the story throughout, you know, Batman comics and Huntress, but she's a Gotham reporter, and she's on another. She's gotten a tip, and it's you know, basically, you know, she was on a subway train interviewing somebody. Somebody slips something in her pocket. It leads her to the morgue. She is at the morgue where they are holding some of the supervillains that were killed on A-Day. Like they show Bane here. Man-Bat recently has been killed off. We don't know why specifically Man-Bat was killed off, but we do see that one person is missing. She doesn't still understand why she's been called to the morgue. She does leave and goes outside. As she leaves and goes outside, someone pulls a gun on her and tries to rob her, and tells her to, not tries to rob her, basically tells her she needs to leave the, you know, the investigation alone. Batman swoops down to save her and knocks out the criminal. Deb Donovan, since she is a reporter, she hooks up with the infamous Vicky Vale and asks her, you know, like what she should do about what she has found out, with what little information she has found out, but she knows it's a story. Vicky Vale tells her that she better listen to Batman, because Batman basically, after he saved her, was like, bro, you need to drop that, you know, and then just flies off. She decides not to listen to Batman, and Vicky Vale decides that there is something larger at play. That, you know, one of the supervillains missing is kind of a notable thing. And she gets another clue leading her to like a hotel, and we do see that it was the Red Hood that left her the first clue, and the second clue leading her here. So that will be, and the story was called Task Force Z, but so hopefully this is leading up to a new, like maybe Task Force S, you know, type thing. Last but not least, but a very, very good read. This is I Am Batman #0. This is directly following from Batman's Second Son. This is Jay still on his journey becoming the next Batman. And it is just, I mean, you know, a lot of people have this problem with, like, you know, other people taking up the mantle of something. First off, it's not new. Batman, if you know Batman, it is a symbol, you know, that's the whole Batman Incorporated and everything that Robin kind of stands for, that you don't necessarily have to be Bruce Wayne to be that hero. You just need to have what it takes to be a hero, you know, get off your ass and go do something about the world versus, you know. So I am kind of all for the new Batman or any other version of Batman that wants to try and be Batman. You know, I was all for not the Nightfall series that John Paul. You know, I mean, shame on him for turning out to be a villain. You know, I mean, of course it's writing, but so I am all for this new. I've been day one. You know, I bought every single appearance that we've gotten of Jace Fox as the new Batman. And I've been steadily excited to find out, how he got his bat suit, and how does he have his own bat cave, stuff like that. We have already learned that Bruce Wayne is okay with him being Batman, that the real Batman does approve of this person using the moniker as the Batman. They kind of jump straight in and they show some of Jace's earlier training before he becomes the Batman. This is all a prequel comic, and so it is set up before he is the next Batman, like before we see him in Future State, like Justice League and any of the Future State comics that we saw him in the next Batman. But this is it is a prequel to those comics, but we also get like flashbacks to where he is right now. They show him, training under, Katana's master and stuff like that. Then, and it kind of goes into how he is already, a well-trained martial artist, that kind of thing. They do go back into the present, and he is leaving out of his father's apartment, but he says he's moving right out of around the corner. The only one that approves of his move out is his sister, which I think in the Future State eventually does become his Robin, which I'm all on board. Brother and sister Batman and Robin, heck yeah. We do show in Alleytown that they are having some like issues with protesting, and it has to do with the A-Day bombings and the people that live in Alleytown. They're worried about having breathable air. A lot of the next Batman stuff has been the background stuff, what's been going on in Batman. Of course, it's the same here. We get Renee Montoya as the new commissioner, and she's trying to sign different cops because at that first demonstration it did not go so non-violently as the police would have wanted. She is tasking 2 other new detectives to show up at the next rally. We also get where back in Batman Second Son, someone was trying to contact Jace while he was on some of his, Batman Year One type missions where he was after this guy with a briefcase and some other stuff. I can't remember everything, but we meet Hidea, and she's been the one trying to contact him, and she's been like, hey, why are you dodging me and blah blah blah. But she is another like tech CEO. But we just kind of get like a brief meeting of her, and one of those, hey, you need to call me type things. We get back to Jace at the tower, and of course he is working with Lucius at Fox Towers with his dad, but this is where he found the secret Batcave, and he is still trying to activate this bat suit that he found. He has like a person named Val that's been helping him out. He does go out back on his like Batman Year One stuff because he has got a tip, and he does take the tip. He shows up, he takes out these 2 bad guys and finds out that they were just there to set up a bomb to make it look like that this place had blown up by accident. They show that these body bags were these 6 people that were supposed to be working here that were already killed. And Jace kind of finds that at the end, at the last second, one of the bad guys that he left that was supposed to be knocked out, activates the bomb, and Jace has to make a superhero exit. We do see him pull his own kind of Batman interrogation thing where he pulls this guy to the side, and one of the guys that he saved out of the explosion because his teammate had left him for dead. He does get some more information, about who had hired him and this and that. Basically, that it was all kind of a ruse, that the real jelly of the jam is going to take place at this protest, and there's people that are in the crowd that are basically look like protesters, that are going to start killing innocent people. Jace, at the same time, it is revealed by Val that he's finally unlocked the Bat program, so he gets to show up in his own. It's basically one of Bruce Wayne's prototype suits that he found. So it's not like it's his own bat suit. He hasn't done that yet. He does mention in this issue that he is working on his own design. But basically it is a bulletproof bat suit that he has, because they just start shooting him, and nothing is able to phase him. They try shotguns, AKs, regular handguns, and he quickly disperses all the villains that showed up there. Eventually the police show up, and Jace is like, look, we've gotten on the wrong side of the foot, let's have a conversation. And then that's when the Peacemaker program shows up and start going after him, the magistrate. And Jace is not, they are able to take him down using like stun protocol. Now they can't get into the suit. So eventually he is like stunned to the ground. He is informed that he has like an escape protocol built into the suit, which they kind of show him activating right here. So he leaves the suit, and he kind of, leaves with all this smoke and fireworks going off. So he leaves the suit there, because basically it's just a shell, and they show him escape. He contacts Val, and basically this is when he sets up the whole like, hey, I've got designs and this and that. They do show the scene where he, meets up with Hedaya, and it's more of this like, you should be doing what you need to do type thing, makes you feel good, and he's kind of like, it's him leaning on more of him, doing good for Gotham, and that kind of thing, because he keeps talking about he wants to go after a system, versus like a person kind of thing. This is where they show him kind of talking to Val, and he's trying to come up with his own designs and stuff like that. But for a Zero issue, it was an amazing issue, really great art, really good pacing on the story. DC is just killing on art, story. The way I look at it, you just pick any character that you're curious about, and you're going to find some good writing, some good art, and some really good, amazing comics. I don't know, that's all I got for you right now. Those are all the new comics that I have purchased for this week so far, but I've been waiting until tomorrow. Tomorrow is free comic book day, so I'm going to hit up 2 comic books. So I only have 2 other comic books that I plan to get, so I'm just going to add some other reviews when I get them coming. Alright, like, comment, subscribe. Thanks everybody for watching everything I do. Alright guys, bye, love you.